What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple Newtype, and in this episode, we're returning to UC0095 as we continue our coverage of Mobile Suit Gundam Pulitzer. Last time, Kikka talked to Stephanie Luo about her interactions with Amado. She then introduces her to the scientist, Mosk, who created the magnetic coating for the Gundam. This time, Kikka will talk to Beltorchika Irma, Amado's former lover, as she learns more about the connection that Amado and Lala experienced. So let's get into this. Kikka is on a plane to her next destination. She reflects back to when she was a kid. White Base crash-landed on a Bawaku and all hell is breaking loose. Kikka got a hold of a gun. Amado uses his Newtype powers to communicate with Frau Bo. He guides her and the kids to Bright. They were all guided by Amado's voice. Sayla also makes it out. They all try to reach out to Amado like he did to them, but they get silence. However, the kids are able to hear him. Amado then bursts out of the asteroid in his core fighter. Kikka wakes up from her daydream as her plane begins to land. She was certain that she heard Amado and helped guide him in that moment. Kikka is walking around navigating all the small roads and alleyways. She looks up to see Sayla Mass. Stephanie Luo gave her tickets with no more information, so seeing her face was quite a surprise. Sayla and Stephanie work together on a project to help protect children from Titan's facilities. Kikka realizes she is talking about Newtype labs. Sayla says that the Newtype that Amado or her father Daikun once preached no longer exists. The term Newtype is now used to describe a weapon of war. Many have died in the name of this new concept of Newtype. She feels she played her part as well. Kikka asks her to go into detail. She asks if she ever heard of a woman named Lala Sun. She was given the name Ghost of Solomon after the takeover of Solomon to Campe Island. Lala and the Elmith took down Federation ships on her first sortie. Even Sayla felt her overwhelming presence on the battlefield. She says that this woman single-handedly changed the tides of war. She tells Kikka that Amado and Lala's meeting was entirely a mistake. White Base went to Side 6 for a few days, during which he met both Lala and the Red Comet. After their meeting, they met again on the battlefield. We see the events of their battle play out. Amado and Lala mind-meld, and she constantly tells him that he is too late. She wishes they never have met. They seem to fully understand one another. Like the anime, Sayla comes in piloting the core booster. Char disables Sayla's unit, and Amado comes in to kill Char. That is when Lala protects Char, sacrificing herself. In her last moments, she says that she could see time. Sayla is sure that Amado and Lala crossed the mental barrier and fully understood one another. But even when understanding one another, you are still left in a position to fight, and sometimes left in a position to kill. No amount of empathy could stop the tides of war, and that is how White Base treated it at the time. They were simply trying to push forward to a Bawaku. A Bawaku was seen as the final stand for Zeon, but for Amado, it was time to finish a long-running feud. Amado goes off on his own, but Sayla tells Kai to let him be. Like the anime, the two fight until their mobile suits are completely torn apart, and when that happened, they got out and fought with their fists. Char is a trained soldier, unlike Amado. Even though Amado gets that one good hit in, ultimately Sayla believes that Char would have killed him if someone didn't step in. She believes it was Lala's will who spoke to the two and ended the conflict. She believes that a Newtype's will can speak to people whether dead or alive. Kikka finds this hard to believe. Sayla wonders if hearing the voice of someone you loved would be considered a curse or a blessing. Kikka takes her leave. Lena comes in and asks how the interview went. Sayla tells Lena that she is going to need more words to find the truth about Amado, suggesting that she needs to have a Newtype connection and break that mental barrier herself. Sayla says that Lena should understand this, suggesting that she is indeed a Newtype as well. Kikka tries to remember back to that moment back on a Bawaku. She is certain she heard Amado's voice back then. She gets an email from someone called Karen Russell, who tells her to come to Rio de Janeiro. She heads to Brazil, where she is met with Beltorchika Irma. Karen Russell was Beltorchika's name when she was a journalist. They head out to the hotel. Kikka wonders why she reached out. She tells her it is for work. She is an informant. After the first Neo-Zeon War, Kuraba completed their mission and disbanded. This left her trying to figure out what to do with the rest of her life. She couldn't go back to journalism as she has been one-sided during this whole fight, so she became an informant. She says that she doesn't want to give up opportunity to talk to Kai's apprentice, but she says she isn't really his apprentice. Beltorchika says that Kai doesn't give out information for free. It must be for a reason. Titties. Beltorchika is silent for a second. She says that she was once in love with that man and she also wants to know where he went. It is now April of UC0095. Kai Shiden heads to a bar in Neo, Hong Kong to meet with Oscar Dublin. He apologizes for their meeting last year. Oscar helped when Kai got word of Amado's Gundam, but it happened to be a dead end. That isn't why they are meeting, however. Oscar wants to know his endgame with Kikka. He truly says he is doing this out of the kindness of his heart. But now that Stephanie Luo is involved, she also is finding financing Kikka. Unlike Kai, she is not doing it out of kindness. What is she trying to gain here? Oscar mentions that Luo Wu-min has taken an interest in Newtypes as of late. They are certainly doing something, as they have even adopted a test subject from Newtype Labs. This is, of course, referring to Michelle Luo, who plays a role in Gundam narrative and will have a small role in Moon Gundam. Oscar cuts to the point. She shows Kai a picture of Chan's T-shaped psycho frame. Oscar believes this is what Luo and Co are after, and that they want Kikka to find it for them. After seeing this picture, Kai mentions that he didn't want to get involved as much as he has, but it looks like he is going to have to go back on his word. Beltorchika and Kikka go for a stroll on the beach. She tells her the time she first met Amado Ray. She was about the same age Kikka is now. She was a member of Kuraba and guided the Aldumla out of Jaburo and into Hickory. Even though that was the first time she met him, she actually saw him 7 years earlier. She watched an Earth Federation propaganda broadcast. She lost both her parents during the colony drop, so when she saw him on TV, she saw him as the definition of a hero. She eventually became a journalist and tried to get interviews with him constantly. She realized that this wasn't the real version of Amado, of course, but she grew up with the idealized version in her head. The idealized version of Amado saved her during her younger years. Once she heard that Amado broke out of his imprisonment, she immediately went to the Aldumla. She said that she would do anything for him simply to repay the debt of what he did for her in her childhood. She says, even sexually. Beltorchika apologizes, but Kikka wants to hear everything. Hot. She tells Kikka that Amado was scared when they first met. He was scared of fighting. She tests him, as she did in Zeta Gundam, and eventually kissed him. He spent 7 years not fighting. He has been in a standstill. So Beltorchika used herself to get Amado's spirits up. Probably got Amado's penis up as well. Because of this, Amado was able to take down the Titans. Kikka wonders if the transactional nature of the relationship can be considered love. Beltorchika wonders if she means taking advantage of him to make him fight for Kuraba, or was she allowing him to use her so he doesn't drown in loneliness? I mean, both are sad options. Kikka wonders why they broke up. She says that he was demanding. Kikka wonders what he demanded of her. She said ultimately nothing because he never communicated it with her. She isn't a Newtype. She needs to have someone explain their feelings with words. But Amado experienced a state beyond speaking words. And he experienced that with essentially the first love of his life, Lala Sun. When someone experiences love without the need for words, what chance does an old type have? She can't ultimately give him what he wants. It is the next day since their awkward first interaction, and they are ready for a formal interview. Beltorchika tells her about Amado's exploits during the Grips conflict. He soon became an influence with Kuraba, but the Titans suppressed information on Amado's involvement in the production of the Gundams in an attempt to quell the Newtype's influence. Amado's movements even became unknown to Kuraba. She also mentions that there have been many Amado impersonators, some even female. This was around the time she left Kuraba. Amado is frustrated, but Beltorchika tells him that humanity has to wait until everyone is a Newtype. Until then, we fight. Amado is a Newtype, but even he can't rush progress. She says she couldn't bear the burdens of Amado, and blames it on not having a mother, as well as not living up to Lala. She regrets this and says she will continue to... She stops short and doesn't finish. She says, never mind. Kikka thanks her for her time and everything she did for her father. As Beltorchika leaves, she takes a phone call informing someone of her interview. She didn't approach her about a certain project. She initially says there is no hope for her, and she doesn't seem to have a chance if her thesis is going to be that she is the one that called back Amado during the 1-year war. She wants to keep an eye on her. Kikka feels that she didn't get a lot out of Beltorchika and wonders what her path is. And that will do it for this episode. If you are like Amado and experienced a Newtype sensation so powerful, then it is possible that he peaked at such a young age and finds it hard to experience a connection with other people. It's like first love syndrome, but with Newtype powers. Sounds like a nightmare. Next time, we will get a retelling of Episode 9 of Mobile Suit Gundam Evolve, where Amado, Johnny Raiden, and Shin Matsunaga go up against the Geminus mobile armor. The Geminus is the most Evangelion thing in Gundam, so this should be fun. But that will do it for now, Newtypes. Remember to find yourself a girl like Beltorchika. Peace.